sucking my gut.
Stand up straight.
Right.
Stand up.
All right, it's Saturday morning, and I don't know, Colin, are you even able to kind of pan around to show what this place looks like? This is a house.
I just got set up.
And we're not going to tell you where we are because we don't want you to show up and drink all the free beer. But anyways, this is this week's podcast, and it's a recording studio, performance studio in a house up here in some place. All right, and that's what this week's podcast is about.
Only in Pittsburgh. John told me hurry up and get on so I could introduce, but he's done all the talking as usual. I'm always in the background. Just kidding. So we're super excited to be here because we love to find these places that nobody knows about. So you're going to get to talk to the band. You're going to talk to the guy who brought us here. Very serendipitous story. But you know how it goes, Facebook world. You're going to check out the band, and then you're going to watch all the behind the scenes. So if you're ready, we're ready.
Right, so you're probably still in your bunny slippers because it was so nasty out this morning. Get your toast, get your coffee, and now we're going to listen to Danny, Brian, Chris, the Dirty Windows.
Thank you. All right, this is Nothing But Cash. I saw your face on the billboard of town. Everywhere I walked, you might have stared me down. It freaked me out. Then I from side to side. Oh, it freaked me out so bad. Ran to the basement to hide. Well, down in the basement, yeah, down in the dark. Scared to go upstairs, but then I saw a spark. It was just you in the basement, from another smoke. Yeah, you and me in the basement, not a word was spoken. Took off running, yeah, but straight to the storm. Saw your face in thundercloud. Knew you met me home. Oh, I swear I heard you rumble. Won't get that man. Well, if that's the case, then catch me if you can. Sitting in the barroom, it's like past 2. Last call I took her and don't know what to do. Oh, I see you staring across the room. Yeah, you're standing down with the ever impending doom. In my apartment, under my bed. What you think I thought of what I really said? Oh man, they can read my mind. Yeah, if that's the case, then I'm running out of time. Bathroom, staring at the mirror. What I think I see is what I've always feared. Oh man, don't like what I see. Yeah, that man I've been running from, staring back at me.
Woo!
Thank you.
All right.
The
So
dirty
as we're kind
Windoze,
of waiting for them, Colin's so good on the magic of like turning that phone around so we could get on task here. All right.
try
So
not
do you
to-
want me to do the ad by myself, John? Is that what you're telling me? Poor Cody. Cody, I'm
I don't know
going
where
to
to go.
something for you. No, we're super excited about this podcast. You just want to jump in?
Do it.
All right.
All right. So tell everybody, this is what we do. So you're going to see behind the scenes of the podcast this week from wherever we are.
From
We're
that
not telling you
place.
That place.
All right. Have you checked out our blog on Rorik.com? We do not want to flood your inboxes with deals and spiels, rather fun and community events and incentives. And that is where the blog and what it is. So take a minute to visit the store to learn more about the vehicle that suits you. As always, visit Rorik.com for all of your vehicle needs. And now we start the YaJagoff podcast from LiveBurgh, no jive, Pittsburgh.
Nice. All right.
I
So
thought that was kind of funny. I like to rhyme. I can't help it. I had to do my summary with a rhyme.
So when you hear the podcast, you'll hear a little bit of music right there, and we say, "All right, this is the YaJagoff podcast."
Mm-hmm.
And if you're listening for the very first time, we ask that you go subscribe to it wherever you find your podcasts. And if you happen to be on iTunes, we would appreciate if you could leave us a note.
Yes. But if you are listening on Odyssey, where you can find us, this will come out early for you on Monday. So that makes us really happy because it comes out on YaJagoff.com on Tuesday. But Monday, you can snag it a little bit early thanks to our friends at KDKA, Y108, 93.7 The Fan, and 100.7 Star, which is also where you can find us. How was that for a segue? Where you can find us every single Monday through Friday at 4:55 with Kel on air, where we do the Talk of the Town. I still don't say "an" very well.
That's all right. You're doing good at
Okay.
practicing.
So Talk
yeah.
of the Town, where basically we talk about all the unique things that are happening, any events coming up, because we're so happy that Pittsburgh is somewhat opening up again. And then you can also hear us on the news segment with Elista, which is basically put your parking chair where. So we're putting a parking chair, pull your chair up for a spot at a unique location. And actually, we were in this area this week with Elista because it was the Heartwood Restaurant and Whispers Pub, which is a super cool concept. But today, our podcast is here, still in the same area. I think Glenn Shaw should just adopt us at this point.
I think so, right? It should be the Glenn Shaw podcast
Yeah.
at this point, right?
Or
'Cause
get a sponsorship.
Greenfield's finest podcast.
Yeah.
We could be Glenn Shaw's finest
Yeah,
podcast,
there you
right?
go.
But we are in a truly unique place. This actually reminds me of like a junior Johnny Angels Ginchy stuff.
Well, they said that. Yeah. Yes. Chris knew. And he was like,
Yeah.
oh, Ginchy stuff. And I was like, yes. But it's a little bit more explosive or bigger explosive. But
and
yeah.
I mean,
I'm
just
right
like,
at home.
just like Ginchy stuff, there's free beer in the refrigerator.
Oh, yeah. JA would be all over
Right.
that.
And
yeah.
their bikes real close.
Right. That is so true. We
just
don't know where we
crazy.
are. But super cool serendipitous story about how this came to be. We're excited to have Chris come on. But before we do that, make sure you're checking out our blogs. We do our blogs on Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. However, you typically will get a Jagging Around video here and there where we talk to unique people, which this week was about live casinos. Guy Fieri.
Fieri, right. We went out and they did a cooking class, which you can go out there. And everybody complains like Greensburg's so far.
It's not.
Lindsay's, it's not that far.
John
And
will
it's
pick
easy
you
to
up,
get to.
and you will be shocked at how quickly you get there.
Right.
That's all I can tell
Yeah,
you.
you don't even need your Easy Pass now because it just reads your license plate. So just go live casino. There's a lot going on out there.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
all right. So and we have to keep pressing because we might be hearing the Jag Off of the
crap.
week on Y108.
Yeah,
Every
definitely
Friday
hear the
morning.
Jag of the week. But I thought you were going to say vote. You guys, listen. I don't want to sound like Sally Struthers. However, for $10, if you go on and you vote for us for Mardi Gras King and Queen, we could win. John and I had this conversation this week where I actually looked someone in the eye and said I was not competitive. And you were so mad because you were like, you lied. Because I am
yeah.
competitive. Let's just be honest. I'm competitive. And I love Shelley Duffy and Paul Alexander. Not enough to let them win. I love Paul Martino and his wife. I don't want them to win. Love me some Selena and her husband. Don't want them to win. And David and Mikey win everything. So it's about time that we win
Right.
for Mardi Gras.
As I say, this is a typical David and Goliath story where
We're the underdogs.
The Hairpiece Charities is doing a Mardi Gras event, which you can go to on February 26th.
Good job.
All right. And we want to be voted as king and queen of the Mardi Gras. The cool thing is you can go there and give us beads, and that helps our. But you can also, if you don't want to go to the event, you go online. We'll put the link below or link in the show notes, and where you can give $10 per vote.
Mm-hmm.
And Hairpiece Charities, if you don't know,
Listen, friends and family, you could do more than 10.
yeah.
You don't have to. $10 enough.
Right. We'll Venmo you the 10. No. No, Hairpiece Charities does great work in that they help women who are going through cancer treatment with wigs. They give them free wigs, and they take care of them to make sure they're always looking to make them obviously emotionally feel better. So Hairpiece Charities is such a
good cause. Yeah.
Great local cause.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, $10 gets you a vote for John and Rachel to be king and queen of Mardi Gras. All right, so we have a unique podcast here in that, listen, we have another podcaster on here, which is totally good. It shows you how podcasts are continuing to grow.
Love it.
And the fact that they're becoming more and more niche. And so you can find any podcast to do anything. And the more we all learn how to listen to podcasts, the better it is for all of us, right?
Yeah. Like you say, we can all play in the sandbox and figure out how to help each other.
And then we always want someone with a unique job. And we always...
I want to be Cody Baker when I grow up.
Right.
That's all.
We're going to... we talked about how we're going to lead off with Cody because we definitely have to lead that off. But first... we have to invite our host.
Serendipitous. Come on in, Chris.
Right.
Yeah.
Come on in here.
Chris,
you
get
get
notes about your life.
I wrote some notes though.
I love
You
it.
didn't remember any of
Listen.
it.
I'm trying to remember. This has been like 8 years, so I'm
Yeah.
trying to remember who's all played here and that kind of thing.
Yeah, but listen,
okay.
before
All
we
right.
even,
So
you're not old, but before we even go
We're
on,
literally in a situation
I-
where you're ready to tell somebody to hold your beer. It's not even a joke. You're
I
like,
brought a
hold
beer
my
because
beer.
I'm giving you all a koozie. It's a LiveBurgh koozie, and it's an Iron
We get-
City because oh, do I got to talk in
No,
here?
There you go.
yeah.
Yep.
Okay. I am also LiveBurgh is a sponsor of the Honky Tonks. Have you heard of those?
Yes.
John
Yes.
Binley.
Yes.
And so next week is our first show back at the Leaderdale. It's in Bloomfield. I should know where it is, but
Somewhere.
so
Check
so
it out.
LiveBurgh, WYEP, and Iron City are sponsors. And
I love that.
we had to take time off as everybody did with COVID.
Yeah.
You know, and even with this place. So, but I'm very excited. They've been practicing here. The Honky Tonks are fun.
I love that you walked in with a promo. Like, you are so stage guy that you walked in like, I'm going to tell you about this. Because here's what I was going to tell you. So there's so much to take in this place, right? You're in Glenshaw. I can't wait for you to explain the concept here. But I looked up, and John, do you see that there are sunglasses hanging
Yes.
from the chandelier? Like, if that's not me, I feel like I was
That-
just beckoned to come
The
here. with my-
chandelier, I'll tell you a little story there. See all those strings?
Yeah.
Yes.
So there were guitarists
Yes.
that would break strings, and they would just, I mean, you could tell I don't clean this place often,
Yeah.
but the times that I would run the sweeper, I got pissed off at them. Like, I would run over
Yeah.
guitar strings. I'm like, listen.
Oh, my God.
So it's the chandelier of broken strings.
That is such a good story.
And
I
all
love
those
it.
sunglasses are left behind, so take a pair. I mean, it's kind of the lost and find.
Dude, this is the story of my life. I buy them
I
regularly.
like the half glasses that are hanging.
Yeah, there's broken ones. And
John, I
there's-
could put like 4 pair up there. There are so listen, just walking in here, you told me like a bunch of stories. One I definitely want to talk about. You were talking referencing the rafters downstairs and why that ceiling's a little bit
Oh, yeah,
jacked
little-
up.
little-
But let's start at the beginning.
Sure,
So
sure.
you are Chris. The serendipitous story is that we worked with you on a PR something. We won't get into all that. A little crisis PR, and from that you checked us out and said, you need to know about my place. And I cannot thank you enough for telling us, because it is so it's your home is nearby, but this is your studio / living space designed for people who were coming in from out of town to play here, to play in Pittsburgh.
Yes.
And this is like a place for them to basically crash, as musicians would say.
Absolutely. There's 3 bedrooms
Love this.
upstairs. They play here. We have house shows. It's all on the honor system, BYOB. People come. I have a show tonight. I know this will be aired later, but I have the Living Street, who was YEP's Band of the Year, playing tonight with Durty Windoze. It's going to be a great show. It's the first show of 2022, but now they're local, so they won't stay here. But I've had out of town artists come, and they have beds to crash in upstairs. And
Okay, so before you go, and John, I know this is one of the Rachel will hog this conversation, and I don't mean it, but
That's all right.
So if you have a local band or a Pittsburgh-based band like Living Street here, so it's an old school house party.
yes. It's
Okay.
Just, I mean, in the summers, I have a lot of times I'll have them outside on the porch,
Sure.
and everybody's out in the yards. I've had I had a fall fest one year. The neighbor across the street has an art studio in 16 acres. He opened up his barn with his artwork, and we had medium important people playing here. We had throughout the day we had hundreds of people come and go, and it was just kind of a fall festy type thing. But the house shows are smaller. The Clarks practiced here for an entire summer before their last album, or no, not their last. What was it? Madly in Love at the End of the World. In fact, they credited LiveBurgh. I was so happy with Greg.
They're like that. They're such
so
good dudes.
Cool
Yep.
dudes. Yep. Very cool.
So tell us, how did you get into this? You were a music person, and take us back.
Yeah,
a
I mean,
further.
I'm kind of. I still have my high school band, the Bad Bad Ants. These are guys we graduated in 1985. And we still play out about it. It's a cover band, but both my boys went to Duquesne for music, and this house. My wife and I have lived next door for close to 30 years, and this house came available about 8 years ago. And it just kind of fell in my lap, like I was gonna first maybe flip it, or it's so close, and then the boys started moving their band stuff that used to be in our game room that was not usable over here, and then one thing led to another, and my daughter was so happy. She's like, oh my God, we could watch TV downstairs again, and instead of having all this band equipment and stuff. And then it started turning into shows, and that's how LiveBurgh was born.
So organic. I know we get sick of using that word. Like, don't say pivot, don't say organic, but it is.
When did it officially become LiveBurgh then? You knew this was a thing at some point.
Yeah, it's odd because at first I had people like I was going to get renters. And like I said, I think I told you my wife, we painted the whole place. And then, I don't know, I had a band do a show, and I'm like, well, you got to sign the wall. And my wife was like, wait, just try to keep it to one little space. And
it's
you can
not.
See it's everywhere now. It's just so LiveBurgh, it was like within the first year.
Is that right? Wow. Yeah. So describing what we see here, Rach, I'll describe. You take a turn, I'll take a turn.
Okay.
Go ahead. Tell everybody what you're seeing right now.
Well, I was
Like
actually
for
going to
people
go by my
listening.
notes, to be honest, because it's a place for people to rehearse, record, perform, network, and crash while you're on tour. And so if we were realtors, we would actually say that you have access to 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, a fully equipped kitchen with beer. With beer, yeah, and a basement. And so you also talk about the area and the fact that where we are, you can hike and you can bike and you can be outside, so that you're really opening up an opportunity for musicians so that we can really use Pittsburgh as a platform again.
It's people don't. I mean, Heartwood Acres is within a mile.
Minutes. Yeah.
So Bill Deasy, who works for the county,
Yep.
he also uses this.
Yeah,
he
right.
uses this. He'll call me up and say, "Hey, can we use LiveBurgh as an extended green room?" Like I had.
I didn't realize that. Okay.
A lot of the bands that played on there, instead of being in the Heartwood, back block room or whatever, they come up here. They take a crash. They do whatever they want. So I get to meet these people. Sorry. No, they can crash in the bed. Take a sleep before the before
Get
the
out
show.
of the heat, whatever,
like
yeah.
Sunday nights they have those
Yeah.
3 shows.
Okay, so what do I see? And you're right, it is a mini
Yeah.
Ginchy stuff, right? And we
Right.
reference Ginchy stuff because
everybody listening to the podcast,
No.
you need to go back and watch the video that aired on Saturday.
Yes.
But tell everybody what you're seeing if they don't see
What
it.
I like most is that it's eclectic, right? So you have things you have Grateful Dead, you have Pittsburgh iconic things, you have somebody who signed a wall, you have the Clark stuff, you have, people I love, like Kim Ritchie live at LiveBurgh. Like, it's so many different things. You are putting your own spin on either people you've met or parts of you, like Dark Side of Oz. Oh my God, one of my favorite things to ever see in my life.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Did
Are you a collector?
I'm a mini hoarder of some sort.
So we're uncovering.
like literally,
Listen,
I try to
Eric
keep it in
Dillman
control.
interviews HGTV people about design, and we interview hoarders. So welcome. This is your intervention. No, I'm just kidding.
If my wife was here, I have, I'm a drummer, so I've been collecting vintage drums forever. You saw my bike collection downstairs. It's, I'm a little of everything. Beer cans and bottles.
There are lava lamps. There are posters and marker and we, as you described earlier in the podcast, we see a chandelier that looks like the bird's nest that we see on the Olympics, but it's made. But it's made out of guitar strings.
This is
It's
awesome.
crazy.
So, tell us a little bit, like you gave us a quick tour. So we went downstairs and you said, you just gave like I do these name drop things that drive John crazy. Like when I say like, James Brown, but you've met so many people and you go downstairs and you say, well, the rafter, the ceiling's a little jacked up. Why? Tell the story.
That was Tommy Stinson came here, and there were so many people bouncing around upstairs that the next day when I have to do the you're cleaning up everything like a college party.
Right.
I went downstairs and all the ceiling tiles, not all of them, but a lot of them had fallen off. And I was like, oh man, this is all jacked up. And my son said, Dad, just run Christmas lights through there instead of worrying about it. I'm like, yeah, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, easy fix.
Hey, I had Tommy Stinson here from the Replacements and Guns N' Roses. And there were so many people bouncing around.
There you go.
Wow.
Yeah. How about
the
that?
Posies.
Yeah.
Raylan Nelson has been here many times. It's Willie's granddaughter. In fact,
Right.
she's a very good.
I was just gonna say, is she good?
She's great. Live, yeah, they're going on tour. I've got her 1 year when she was through the connection. She played at Deutschtown Music Festival because I'm also involved with like Cody and Ben and those guys that do the Deutschtown. You know, like I love the music scene here in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
I do.
Well, yeah, and we've just talked about this other project that we're in is that the music, you know, everybody talks about the food scene, the cultural scene, the arts and all that, but the music scene has been crazy blown up here. But it's not like it's suddenly happened. It's not an overnight success. This has been happening for years, as Rachel's dad would tell you.
Yeah.
Well, it's not even, and I'm not a musician at all. I've just been fortunate enough to watch it from the sidelines. I think that, like anything, as we talked about podcasts before, right? The Pittsburgh music scene was such a secret that no one knew. Like, we could rattle off so many people from the 40s, 50s, 60s that were born here and really started different genres of music. But then, just like anything else, it goes because we're not known as a music town. We're a coal town.
Right.
And then here we are with these amazing talents who are really trying to bring it back and say, it doesn't have to be a stage AE. It can be a house show, right?
You know, when I did this, I was a little worried in the beginning, like, oh, it's out in the suburbs. Who's going to really come? Because it's not Butler Street and it's not Hambones or Howlers or where everyone goes. But, you know, it kind of spreads the great music out to the suburbanites that might not go down to those places. And I'm like, wait, you're missing great bands right here in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
I'm like, you have to hear this. And that's what I tried to do.
No, it's totally cool. And I'm a sucker for live music. I might have to buy the house next door. Just so I can roam over here.
Yeah, he can stay here.
Oh, my God. No, and what you guys played, throughout here is just amazing. So
I got to tell you the toast story, though.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I see the toast
okay.
sitting over there.
Yep.
Why is there toast sitting there?
So the toast is kind of
not plated. Just sitting on the little buffet.
Well, these are old ones. But
yeah.
Like, usually, like that's a piece one. One of them had the LiveBurgh. The LiveBurgh logo is gone. But there is my little.
Someone ate it.
Someone
had the munchies.
But it all started out with when I first had this, I was telling my friend Ned West, who's in marketing. I was like, oh man, I don't know what I'm going to be able to offer bands. I have nothing except maybe bread and water. So he brings this toaster over that burns an image of Darth Vader. And I'm like, he's like, if you're going to give bands bread, make it cool. So then it just became this thing. Every band that plays here at the end of the show, you'll smell toast burning. And I have, I got videos of Tommy Stinson with toast. They eat, half of them are starving, so they eat it or whatever. So it's just this,
or it's
it became this dumb thing, but it's kind of,
how is it dumb? I think that's such a cool shtick.
I guess it's not dumb. I don't know.
That's a great story. Yeah. And the funny part is you did have it just like sitting out. And I was like, oh, is this for us? And you're like, no, I have a good story. It was a good story to tell behind it because who doesn't want to see that?
These ones are
cool.
old. I can make you fresh bread.
Oh, I love it. Yeah. Yeah.
We need to get Mancini's to sponsor this.
Oh, man, yeah.
We can't help it. We can't help it.
See,
we do their marketing, so that's why. Yeah, we can't help it. But listen, I'm so glad. We all said this at different times. Pittsburgh is 6 degrees. I'm so fortunate that we met you. Talk about what we can expect for your show tonight, so the Facebook Live world will know.
Tonight will be, Dirty Windoze. That's my little 3-piece band. We're opening up for Living Street, who are incredible. They were YEP's Band of the Year last year. I actually have been trying to get them. I ran into Nick, I think it was at the Lucas Nelson show months ago when shows started opening back up. And I'm like, hey, man, when are you guys playing LiveBurgh night? We set it up. They're great. This is before they got announced to be Band of the Year. So I'm like, holy shit, they're...
You're fine.
No, you're fine.
Okay.
I drop the B word on a regular basis.
So anyway, that's tonight. This is my first show of 2022. Like everyone else, I struggled through the COVID scene. I mean, bands still kind of practice, but I was out of having house shows for a while because
And how do they watch it? Listen to it?
Yeah, it's just live here.
Yeah. It's here.
Yeah, it's here. It's people will come. They're all free. It's donation only. I pass I pass a Kentucky Fried Chicken bucket, and
He's like, where is that thing?
it's right over there. You can see it in that. So I pass the hat around, and the suburbanites bring their drinks, and they listen to good music.
Nice.
And yeah.
Nice.
Listen,
So
I feel
message
like
you
I'm
on
part
Facebook
suburbanite.
if they want to come, right?
Yeah, it's basically Facebook. I do have a LiveBurgh studio. I bought the domain, or I got the site, but I am you wouldn't know that I'm a software engineer. Like I don't keep it up to date. I kind of hate it. It's like a mechanic drives a piece of crap.
Listen,
I don't want to.
Yes, we're marketing people, and we can't market our own podcast. We get it. We get it.
As I always say, the mailman never goes out for a walk after work, right?
Right,
Yeah,
exactly. No, Chris, I'm so glad we met you. So 6 Degrees of Separation. Check out. You do have a website. You are on social media. LiveBurgh. It's LiveBurgh.com.
LiveBurgh Studio, LiveBurgh,
Studios
but
dot com.
really Facebook is my
Facebook.
LiveBurgh, and I have LiveBurgh Music YouTube channel. Yeah, those are the big.
Nice.
Instagram,
This is great.
whatever at LiveBurgh.
Well, I
Studio.
promise you that if you're interested, when people are passing through, when things are a little bit more bustling, and it's summertime, we'll be happy to come over and do some interviews. How's that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
And capture
That'd
it.
be great. Yeah,
I think
like
that
a
would
nice
be a
We'll
great
outdoor-
tailgate
collage.
this, yeah.
That'd be great.
Yeah,
Yes.
awesome.
Please-
Chris,
please
thank
do.
you. We
Chris,
will.
thanks for
And we
having
get
us.
to hear
This
your
is
band
awesome.
again, but
Okay.
before that, we get to bring on our friend
yeah.
Eric Dillman, our new friend. So he gets to come on.
All
Thank
right,
you so
cool.
much, Chris. This was
Absolutely.
perfect.
Thank you.
You didn't even need your
I
notes
didn't
like
even
me.
need notes, yeah.
I put my notes on my lap, and I don't think I look at them once. but that
Here,
was
I'll take
awesome.
that
Yeah,
if you
you're
want.
fine.
There you
Thank
go. Don't trip on anything. You're used to this kind of stuff.
Dude, this is
How crazy is that?
I know. I need a picture of the sunglass wall. I don't know what my phone.
All right, come on in, Eric. Have a seat on the comfy couch. Eric, I think before we even start to talk to you, as you look around here and you think, what has just this couch? Imagine the stories this couch is able to tell.
Yeah, I mean, definitely want to know. As I was back there watching, this reminds me of like a cooler version of a TikTok Music House. I'm not sure if you know anything about those, but
No.
so
He
I
just called us old.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people know, even TikTokers. There's one called 615 House. It's in Nashville.
Okay.
And it's a bunch of inspiring songwriters that don't have music labels. They're not signed yet.
Yes.
And they live in a house, share rent, and they just create content all day.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's how they become popular.
Kirsty. Did Kirsty not tell us about
I'm
this?
not sure about that.
We'll have
Okay.
to ask her, but
Yeah.
yes, I do know about it. That's awesome.
Hype House is a big one because it's on Netflix and
Yes.
stuff, but that's not a music house.
I can't.
Okay.
I
It is
can't
just
watch Hype House. Even my kids who are 19, 15, and 13 are like, "Mom, don't watch it," because we can't even watch it.
Yeah,
Like it's a little much. It's a little over the top.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that was our little pop culture
Right,
tip
so-
from Eric Dillman.
Eric, we came to find you on Instagram, I think, is really how this all happened.
Yeah.
And then we found out you have a podcast. And I love the fact that, again, in Pittsburgh, I think like the band scene, like the comedy scene, everybody gets along. Everybody's trying to help
Yeah.
each other out, and as Pittsburghers are always behind the times.
Little bit, yeah.
We're a little slower to adopt podcasting and listening to podcasts, not recording them. But now podcasts are coming up. People are getting in, turning on their CarPlay, thanks to Roy Honda, and turning on their CarPlay instead of turning on morning radio at some point, right? So what made you start your podcast?
So it all started as just like an Instagram post. I was really just trying to find a way. I'm an interior designer, so I was trying to find a way to help homeowners resell their homes. And I just wanted to make sure. So I started with real estate agents in Pittsburgh, and then it kind of grew to outside of Pittsburgh. And then I started interviewing. I started talking to Ward Schrader from HGTV. He's on Bargain Mansions, and I always wanted to do something with him. And it was the pandemic, and I was bored. So I'm like, hey, let's get on a Zoom call and just record it. And that's how it started. And it didn't really start into a podcast up until a month ago. I didn't start posting them as a podcast.
December, right? I thought December was when.
January 1st.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, and here's what I love. So John and I talk about this all the time because, as I told you prior, our podcast is going on 7 years. So it's sort of a different, we've done this. So we're always looking for ways of how are we different because, as he said at the beginning, so many people are creating podcasts now, but they're creating podcasts as a result of something they've already done. And I love the fact that it's admitted that there's this niche opportunity, and what you're doing is niche. So what did it take for you, I guess, when you say, like, I just called the guy from HGTV, was it just a whim? Did COVID, and we hate talking about COVID, but did COVID kind of help that? Would you have done that otherwise?
Oh no, definitely not. I was always one couldn't stand seeing myself in a video,
right?
Or hear my
Same.
voice.
Yeah. Same.
So like COVID kind of just like wanted me to start something.
Yeah.
I always wanted to do that. Had the courage to do that. So it kind of just started that way. And Ward, he followed me before I followed him.
Gotcha.
I don't know how that happened. I was very lucky that happened. And we were just messaging for months and months. And I wanted to collaborate with him somehow. And then he just put me in contact with his assistant. And from there on, we just
that crazy?
Scheduled it. And
what did you think of starting a podcast prior to now doing it? And I know you're early on, but what was your preconceived, like, this is easy, you just pick up a microphone and kind of chat?
Oh, yeah, definitely. All the behind the scenes of scheduling it, getting the questions,
right,
editing, all of that stuff is so much harder than I ever thought it would be.
Yeah.
So much harder.
Yeah.
And even as you earlier on in the process, just editing wise, now that you know how to edit a podcast, do you find yourself editing yourself now as you're doing the podcast? Like, are you able to do that now?
Yeah, so I make mental notes of where I need to edit it in the podcast, but I don't like watching. Again, I don't like watching myself.
Okay.
So once I post it, I'm done. Like I don't.
Is that right?
It.
Okay.
And even when I'm editing it, I don't even watch the whole episode.
Okay.
So I'll edit it and send it to the person that I did it for, just as a respect, just make sure they didn't say anything that they weren't allowed to say. But yeah, I just take mental note of where I need to edit.
I told you before we came on, again, the way our process is obviously different than the next person's process, different than your process kind of thing. But we still go old school and create what we call a bullpen. And like we said, because we're on site, because we're also showing a place, that's relevant to Pittsburgh, and essentially, we create this bullpen of people. The good news is Pittsburgh embraces their people. So, timeliness is sort of a joke because we think everybody's, still evergreen. But ultimately, it's sort of hard to make it jive with theme. Like we said today, like here we are in this unique creative space, that kind of thing. How do you kind of decide who's the next target? Like I said to you, I sort of fangirl because you had the Extreme Makeover, Carrie
Laughlin.
Come on. And what was, how do you prepare differently for someone like that? Because you're hitting a different kind of audience than we are.
Yeah, those HGTV stars are a little bit more sensitive on the questions I have to ask. I have to get a lot more pass through to their people, HGTV. But really, like how you do the bullpen type of thing, it's all episode by episode. So I have like 4 or 5 in my back pocket just in case I don't have an episode that week. But like last week, I just released one with a new show that premiered on the 16th. So I had to push that one forward. There was kind of like a pressured thing that I had to post forward. But for the most part, I don't really have a method. I kind of just like want to do HGTV and then kind of like content creating or something else.
What was the show? Because I am an HGTV buff.
My Flipping Family.
Okay. Yeah.
Definitely go watch it because it's only a 1 episode thing. So it's strictly a pilot. HGTV still does a lot of the pilot stuff. And you have to, it's a success off of that pilot will determine if it's a season or not.
Isn't that what Lee Trebozic did with A&E? Or the AE network
with the
Houdini
stuff. Yeah. But there were a couple of folks here in Pittsburgh who've done pilots and whatever before.
The Ford.
Yeah.
Restored by the Fords.
Yeah. Yes. Have you interviewed them? Because I'm going to put you on the spot.
I have not.
I messaged them somehow. Let's hope they know. But I thought it was so cool that they had a Pittsburgh connection, and I thought, because I love the fact of HGTV, but it wouldn't fit our mold. But they would because it has a Pittsburgh connection, and I was like, I would love to talk to them about what that's like. So we'll work on that together.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah, I've been actually trying to get them on for a while.
There you go.
So, and I think we haven't even talked about the name of your podcast is called Pro Series.
Yes.
Pro Series, yeah.
And it is about interior design. So, like, this is like your Super Bowl in here.
It is.
Or do you have a little bit of Tourette's? You're like, what is going on?
You're like, just spray paint black over everything, huh?
That's funny because I do everything in black.
Is that right?
My house, I have a bunch of black walls, and people are like, what is wrong with you? And until they come and see it, and they're like, wow, that actually looks good.
Okay.
But this is just like a place that you could stay in here for like 24 hours and still see something new.
Yes.
Like,
that's what I love.
The cool part about it.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we're going to do. Chris, we're staying for 24 hours, and we're going to make a list
He doesn't care.
Every hour.
He's No, that's awesome. So what I like is you took something you love for your passion, right? So you are an interior designer, and you turned it into something bigger. Was that intentional, or was that this should be the next best thing, and it kind of happened?
I think it kind of just happened.
Okay.
I've always wanted to be bigger than just a Instagram inspirational page. So kind of like this podcast and interviewing the HGTV people have given me the opportunity to get a broader, just broader than Pittsburgh. Because I've done real estate agents from England, people from Australia. So it's kind of doing it nationally now.
But you encompass, and tell me if I'm wrong, from what I understand, the architecture, the design, but as well as the broker part, the real estate part. How is that interesting to you? Because by trade, you're not a realtor.
No. So I've always been interested. I'm on Realtor.com all the time, just looking at houses, like pretending I have millions and millions of dollars.
Same,
Picturing myself in that home. So that's always been interesting, and seeing it from other people's views from other countries as well is really interesting to me. I wanted to be an architect when I was younger, and it kind of just changed as I got older. So that's where the architecture kind of fits in there too. So it's just really everything in that niche. I love
knowing
what cool.
with your friends, knowing what you do for a living. Do they do excuses as soon as you walk into their house? Like, oh, this is my couch. I'm about to get a new one. Or check out this wall, but I really want to do something else. And they start making exxicuses because they think you're judging them. Does that happen to you?
Do you judge? Be honest. Okay.
Well, I don't know. I won't.
I admitted I'm competitive. Admit that you're judging. Go ahead.
I mean, I definitely would never say anything.
Yes, right. Of course. Right.
But yes, they do say that. It's kind of annoying because I never would say anything to them. But
it's sort of like me when someone says that's a nice shirt, and I go, yeah, but I'm still trying to lose that last 10 pounds so it fits better. Right? I always have to make excuses. That's so funny. Oh my God.
I am the guy.
What's the trend? So since you are in touch with England and folks all over the world, what's the coolest trend that we don't have here yet in Pittsburgh? Or is that a difficult question?
That's a good question.
Like
Pittsburgh is behind the times.
Yeah, usually it comes from like the West Coast, so California comes over to Pittsburgh.
Like the weather.
Yeah. Good way to say it. I don't really like to look at trends.
Oh, okay.
Because they're made just to make you feel bad about your home. So like, I always tell people, don't look at the trends, like the whites and grays and stuff. Just get rid of it. Just do what you love. But I mean, there's like a lot of blue and stuff. Crazy colors. And
Burberry. Are you a Burberry fan? Please say no.
Well, and it's funny because I say my house is a very open concept. Like before it was a thing. It was a Cape Cod that we turned into, just added on. Like there's really no like name for it. And so my entryway goes into my dining room, goes into my living room. It's just literally this square space. And so what do you do with that? Because you can't really break up a room, so you have to kind of like make it go from one end to the other. And we ended up biting the damn bullet and going the gray white-ish route. That's a whole other story I could tell you about my home design. Never buy Macy's Kelly Ripa line. That's all I'm saying. But anyway, so I do this thing, and then I was like, I need a pop of color. And so I have these like crazy, just from Target, red accent pieces that are like china closets. Is that sort of becoming like this shabby chic kind of put together? Is that less trend, more, what's the word I'm looking for? Like way to go, like cheapish?
I'm not exactly sure. I'm not more on the decor side. I'm more on like the architectural interior design side.
Gotcha.
I feel
what's your opinion?
I'm okay on pops.
Asking for a friend. Yeah.
I don't like pops of color. Like I said,
okay, you're black. Okay.
I would love to have a whole black house, everything black.
But wait, so when you say that, your house is, and not TMI, but it's all black, and then
no black accent walls.
Gotcha.
It's too small to do all black.
Okay. So from a design, do you like?
I feel like you're.
I don't want that.
Do you like the design like real open? Are you a big? No, or
I don't like the open concept.
Is that right?
No, because it's so loud. Especially if you have other people in your house.
I'm loud. Yeah,
well, that's a good point.
You're watching
that's
TV
a good
in one
point
room.
there. Yeah.
It's a great point.
And a lot of people are wanting it to close in now.
Oh, wow.
In family rooms
and
stuff.
Makes sense. I can totally see why.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of the industrial look, like the pipes, the bricks, all that kind of stuff. I like that kind of stuff.
But what is it about architecture, though, that is sort of for you? My son is actually at Penn State for architecture.
Oh, okay.
So I love knowing that, like, that's...
Colin, did you set your watch on that one?
I said
We're-
Penn State. Here we go. We
that-
are. Anyway, so what was it about? Because people, that doesn't seem to be like the thing, right? Like people aren't like, oh, what was your first kind of like, I'm going to go into architecture?
Well, my parents built their house.
Okay.
Like I was like 8 years old, 10 years old.
Oh, wow.
And I just was with them through those appointments.
So it was
of
intriguing.
touring and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, and I would just sit in front of like their family room and just draw all the houses getting built.
Get
So it was
out.
just kind of something that I've always loved.
That's pretty cool.
And yeah, and it's to the point where like if I go to a historic building, go downtown or something, and I'm supposed to be paying attention to like a meeting or something,
You're not.
I'm not paying attention.
Yeah.
You're not. You need to get me in a boring room to like get my attention.
Yeah.
Because I'll be looking at all the
That's-
details.
That's
Wow.
fascinating, to be honest. I won't say interesting because you know my behind. what
Yeah.
that means, but-
Which part of the country has the most interesting houses? Since we know we're sort of not looking.
More structural, John?
Like the East Coast, West Coast, they have that. And is it either older or is it newer? Like the East Coast has like really old houses. The West Coast has newer houses, like Phoenix, Arizona had newer houses. Like there's a cousin of mine who came from Florida. She could not believe how old all of the houses was on the East Coast because everything is older here. But do you have a favorite kind of region?
No, I really like the older homes.
Okay.
It's funny how you say the Arizona part because I'm really into like the desert look.
Oh, okay.
Because we don't get that around here.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Everything's traditional.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like the older homes. I never used to like them just because the newer homes nowadays don't really have a lot of character in them.
Yeah.
So it's just like not as fun. It's kind of boring. But yeah, you find that in every city though.
Yes.
In like the older, like I was just in Mount Lebanon area yesterday and driving through seeing all those stone homes.
Yes.
Like
That's a
you
great
wouldn't
point.
see that in Cranberry where I live.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like you're seeing the traditional pop-up magazine home
Yep.
everywhere.
Yes.
So it's
That's a
kind
good
of
point.
everywhere, just traveling, driving around and looking at
Yeah.
all the neighborhoods.
And with that being your interest, I'm just grabbing this hair off of here for you. With that being your interest, can you see it? I don't-
Rachel's
I
picking
don't want-
hair off of a microphone
Yeah.
right now.
With that being your interest, when you're talking to the folks who you're interviewing, is it hard to kind of stay tuned on, because you profile them essentially, going back to your podcast, you profile them and what they're doing from a design perspective, but is it hard to kind of stay the course, like for you to not go into, hey, let's talk about the structure, or let me pick your brain on what you thought about?
Definitely
Yeah.
is. And for the most part, they're free about that.
Okay.
I kind of ask about that beforehand when I'm
Got
kind
it.
of questioning them, like how far, because I don't want to brush any of them wrong way.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it is very, very hard to do that, especially when they're talking about a TV show.
Yes.
Because a lot of the time it's before the TV show even airs.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not allowed to talk about
Yeah.
certain topic points.
Yes.
And if I bring it up, I don't want them to feel uncomfortable.
I
'Cause
gotcha.
it kind of throws off the whole interview.
It does. You're exactly
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It makes them feel like tense, and then you don't know what to talk about. No, I get it. That's awesome.
This is awesome. It's so
intrigued.
cool.
Yeah.
I think it's the coolest thing that you came to this particular podcast just because
But can
of
we
this
give
place
me
here.
credit because I said Eric Dillman might be good for this one? Could we?
We always give you credit. Yeah.
No. John
So
wants to go rock climbing.
where
Let's
and
go
when
rock
does
climbing.
everybody find your podcast?
So I usually post once a week on anywhere you get like Apple Podcasts, iHeart, Odyssey. It's Pro Series with Eric Dillman, and you could follow me on Eric Dillman Designs on Instagram or wherever any social media.
I love it.
Yeah, follow him because your social's awesome too. I'm so happy we connected. We certainly invite you back anytime. We don't always. Certain guests we say like come back quarterly. Talk to us about what you're doing and whatever you want to promote. We'd be happy to have you.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Thank
awesome.
you. This is the first podcast I've been on other than my own, so this
Is
is
that
pretty
right?
exciting. Yeah.
Well, listen. We
I
didn't
set the bar high.
You did well, yeah, and we're
Look
happy
at you.
to have that.
Nice
yeah.
work.
John, we did not ask Chris the question of the day.
I know. I know.
just
I was waiting
realized
for you to
that.
do
Okay.
it here, but
This is
he's
the-
coming back.
This is the one thing we do on a regular basis. We always have a question of the day that's Pittsburgh-based-ish. But so since we're here and we know all of the tons and tons of talent who has seen this home, right? Biggest celebrity that you have ever met. So basically, who is your all-star claim to fame? And really, it's unfair to ask you because you've talked to these HGTV people that I would be like salivating over.
Yeah.
You
But
know?
talk about maybe even just meeting one, maybe outside of your podcast.
outside of your. Was that a
Yeah.
good question, John?
Yeah, it's a great question.
Because I know yours. I'll let you think. I'm going to assume that yours is the country singer,
Garth Brooks.
Garth Brooks.
Oh, I'm a huge country fan, so like,
Yeah.
that was
Well, the
Be
story,
friends with John. He'll
the
get you
story
in.
of how it happened is so crazy. And then I became dad of the year because I got him to say on video hi to my kids. and then I took my daughter to meet him at this thing. So I was dad of the year for about 9 days.
Yeah, that's a long time
Then
in parenthood.
Kids have short memories after that. But yeah, it was totally
have
cool.
one other than
Who's
Carrie?
yours?
I mean, like all the HGTV people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I was kind of blown away that Ward, him being the first ever
Yes.
interview.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
cool.
That was insane.
It was
And
a little microphone drop on your part, bro. You walked in here and you were like, Ward. I was
Yeah.
like,
He
whoa,
follows
bro.
me. Yeah.
I mean, Tariq Al Musa from Flipper Flop.
Shut
I
up.
didn't meet him, but he messaged me. and
Ah, my
followed
mother's
me
gonna die.
randomly.
Yeah.
So it was pretty awesome.
Are they back together?
No.
Okay.
No. He's married to the girl on Selling Sunset.
Does
from
she
Netflix.
look like her? Okay. Then my bad on pop culture. They look alike. I was like, wait a minute, are they back together? That's so funny. That's so
well,
like
at least you know
scuttlebutt.
that in case we ever interview them, you won't stumble
I won't
and
say,
"Oh, you
I'm
guys
so
back
glad you
together."
got back together. You saved your family. Eric, thank you so much. It was
Thank
such a
you for
pleasure.
having me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we
Colin, we'll just
appreciate
get an interview with you. That was
All
awesome.
right.
Thank you.
Cool.
Yeah,
All right,
how
Cody.
Cody.
So this next guest is funny. Here at Sit
Oh,
Wherever.
you're funny.
And
He
you
just
can
put
have
the pressure
whatever.
on you. You're funny. Oh, you're fine. You could leave.
Vibrating in my pocket.
This
okay.
next guest, we were talking about how we're going to introduce you because we do a little show prep about 9 seconds before we arrive
Yeah,
at the
there's
podcast.
no show
right?
prep in case you
And
didn't.
other
didn't
than the
prep anything
research
either,
that
so-
Rachel
Fine,
does.
you're fine.
So when we go out and do things, people go, now,
Why are you here?
What is it that you do again?
Yeah, I
and we
love
go
that
like,
question.
well, we have a podcast and we do marketing and we do. They're like, okay.
Still don't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want a
Well,
burger?
wait, even funnier. So Cody goes, I thought this was a tailgate. Like, whenever I emailed him, he's like, I thought we were doing a tailgate.
In my defense, I was on vacation when you guys emailed me, and I was like, hell yeah, I'll show
Yeah,
up.
I'm in.
Of course,
I'm
I'll
in.
show up.
Yeah.
And then today I looked, and I was like, oh, this is not on the north side. This is Glen Shaw.
Today.
But yeah,
So,
Today.
so the cool
Apologies,
thing is
Bobby.
that you have got to have more questions like that than we do at
Yes.
this point because
my grandparents
we
have
follow
no
you
idea.
around.
Right. My
I-
parents have no idea,
I
so I
will,
can understand.
right. And the coolest answer you had was, and this is kind of the way we thought, and this is the way I thought in high school, is that I just don't want to work for anybody else. So
You
I'll
said
do,
it.
Yeah.
I'll
It's a
do
true
whatever
story.
that is.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's funny. My grandparents are like, what do you do again? And I'm like, like 15 things maybe.
Yes.
I had to get a new, or I didn't have to get a new apartment. I chose to get a new apartment about a year and a couple months ago, and they're like, "What do you do?" And I just sent them like 2 years of bank statements. So like, I just don't have like a traditional job, even though it is.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I guess if that's a question, I'm like a photographer. I throw events. We do activations
Marketing.
for liquor companies. We try and introduce other creatives to other local brands. We try and inspire creatives to work for themselves. It's like 15 different objectives. At once, I
But
think.
you're right.
Well-
but you're iconic to someone who's a high school counselor, career
Yeah.
counselor, who should say,
true.
You,
Yes.
I'm gonna
you
take
don't
that.
have
That's
to
a good
do
one.
this. You can make your own because your
Yeah.
job, our job, isn't in a job description anywhere, and that's
Yeah.
what I love about it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
High school counselor, creative counselor. I might steal that. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know where to start. Like, and I guess if you guys want my TED talk about like what I do, I
Yes.
guess I can-
Hi, Cody. I'm Rachel. What do you do for a living?
Hey guys, welcome. I'm glad to be back. So, I went to college at Point Park to like draw cartoons and do like special effects like in movies, and I waited on tables to pay for college. I started doing their social media in return for like free lunches, like free po' boys at this New Orleans restaurant. Did that for like 3 or 4 months, and it hit me. I was like, food is money, and money is a job. Let's restructure this. And I pitched this. The older gentleman, Yves Crow, passed away unfortunately, but French gentleman who owned like 5 restaurants downtown. It took me like 6 months. I was like, you guys need marketing. Like, I could do this for you guys. And one day I got a text. He's like, come upstairs. We're having a meeting. And I was waiting on tables, and I ran upstairs, and I just like kind of pitched him, gave him like a yearly number, and he's like, cool, do it. And that was like, I was like a sophomore in college, and I started to do social media marketing for like 5 restaurants as like a sophomore for like a decent little like salary. And I did that for like 2 years. Then it was from his restaurant group to working with like Richard Deschamps group to every other little restaurant here and there in the area. and I started working with Baron Batch a lot and like filming him doing his work, and he kind of inspired me as well. Like he got to make a living off being a painter, and I was like, that's bizarre.
Yes.
That's really complicated. And he kind of inspired me to like take the leap as well. And then not having a stable job in the background kind of like inspires me not like to wake up every day and make sure I
It
get
inspires the hustle.
yeah. And then from there, like me and my best friend, like Chancellor Humphrey from Keep Pittsburgh Dope, we were like, we need to meet more people like this to be inspired, to create more connections, do so on and so forth. And we came up with Creatives Drink. And Creatives Drink started at Howl at the Moon, and drinks were like $1. And we're like, if we can get like 50 people to show up that all have similar interests, maybe we can work together and do this and that. And we maybe had like 25 people with that one. But from there, it went to Constellation Coffee, to the Vandal. We went to Mattress Factory, Ace Hotel, to renting out Stage AE, and completely paying for the whole thing, completely free show, and putting on like 15 artists from Pittsburgh on Stage AE. Wireless mics, green room, showers, the whole ordeal. I wanted them to like feel what it's like to be like Wiz Khalifa or like Mac Miller.
Yeah.
And from there, it's just been kind of going and going. So,
Well, you know, when I hear you tell that, I think of when I was in my 40s, I lost my job because they were selling the company, right? They're just like, you're all out of a job. And I had to figure things out. And I started, they do this career counseling, and they say, go to this networking event, go to this networking event. And it's all people who are my age that lost their jobs, and they're all going, I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do with my life, right? And you're like, wait, I am hanging out with a bunch of people who are in the same sad sack mindset and I am.
Yep.
In turn, you flip that and you pull creatives together, people that are just trying to figure it out.
The
and how to
tagline,
help each
innovation,
other, right?
innovation breeds creativity or
collaboration.
Wow. Collaboration.
I'll
I don't
help
even know
you.
my own.
He's on his beer he's beering it right now, so I'll help him.
My second beer here.
I'll mother him.
Jeez, yeah, I don't know my own tagline anymore.
I was like, your tagline.
Yeah, I was like, jeez. Yeah, so the whole goal was like networking with a twist.
Yes.
Kind of like no name tags. Everyone has social media. Everyone sees each other. They know who you are. And the city's very small. So if you put them in the same room, then they can kind of, elbow brush shoulders and maybe start a conversation, and they can get work with each other, or they can utilize our resources.
Well, take that a step further. When we first started, and not who cares, it's not like a boring, well, this was our story, but there were times that we were like, how else do we network? Like the podcast is the podcast, so we provide a platform, but how do they actually know why it's worth it to talk to us versus somebody else, right?
Yeah.
And so John would say, like, he literally would cringe because he will tell you he's a wallflower, and I'm the person who has to be like, hey, how are you? That kind of thing. I think it's a male-female kind of thing, which is fine. But he's not a wallflower. But I get what he means, because there were networking events that felt... Because you go there, you're right. You're wearing a name tag. You have your business card. You have to go over and give your 2-minute elevator pitch.
Yeah.
Everyone hated that. So why do it? And you sort of led this new way of doing it without it. It was natural, and it was a progression that helped each other to kind of network and say, hey, I can help you while you help me.
And I think it's even more in that's the face part of it, but other than that, it's also affirmation that you're not a jerk for not going to get a job in a cubicle somewhere.
Well,
You're not.
Yeah.
It's hopefully to inspire.
It's everybody affirming, like, yeah, we can do this.
Yeah.
I don't care if I have one W-2 form or W-9 form
25.
or 25 stapled
1099s,
together, right? Yeah.
We don't even know the
my
letters
tax
and
return.
numbers. We forget the letters and numbers when they come. Yeah.
Yeah, 1099s.
1099. Yeah,
Life.
whatever.
Yeah.
Lots of those. But I think the more 1099s, the better, right? It's like,
Yeah.
as long as I don't have to be, well, I don't know. Like, I feel like being forced to, like, go somewhere Monday through Friday, like, inhibits creativity.
I agree.
And not that there's anything wrong with
Yeah,
it,
there's
because
nothing
we
wrong
need
with it.
people to do those things,
Yeah.
but it's not for you.
Yeah, and I think COVID was pretty, I was going to say COVID was pretty cool in exposing that. COVID's awful.
Yeah, no, we get it. The time
You know where I
frame.
was going with
Yes.
that.
Yes.
The idea that, like, it disrupted the typical, like, job that's, like, everyone can work from home now. It's like, oh, like, maybe this 9-to-5 thing isn't what everyone needs to strive for. Maybe there is multiple avenues you can take. It's a little scary, but also, like, I don't know, it's kind of exciting.
It's the flip. And let me bring this up. That's a great point. John and I were having this conversation before, like, a work day, and I said, this whole great resignation thing, which I didn't know it was dawned that, but this great is that right? Is that what it is? The great resignation, John? I said, I sound like my parents. This is a terrible thing. Everybody's just quitting their jobs. And John was like, wait a second. You did that. You know, what is wrong with it? It just is, it happened to be lumped into this time. And it's resonating because people went, why on God's green earth am I doing what I don't love when I can go?
Exactly.
So for that, it was great because you're right. It's the reason to say, I'm leaving this behind and doing what makes me happy.
It'll be like, when people are closed up and then 9 months later they're kind of all these babies.
Yeah.
Think about in 5 years, how many companies will go back to say they started
Yes.
by somebody leaving their job, and
Yeah.
now they employ 20 people.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, even like events was like our main bread and butter, and doing like social media marketing for like restaurants was really important. And then restaurant budgets get slashed. You can't even
my
meet
God.
with 3 people, let alone 100 people. So I was like, where am I going to go from here? So like even the sense of like COVID shaking up what I was normally doing helped us like lead into creating like an RTD, like a canned cocktail, and working with liquor companies, helped us do like a COVID safe like outdoor bar. And I've always wanted to do those things, but I never like pulled the trigger on it. And then COVID happened, and I was like, well, you better do it now, or
Have
else
to.
you're gonna have to maybe go find a different route. I don't know what's gonna happen.
Right.
So
Yeah.
like I don't know. It's like a huge like a I mean, I'm trying to think
Epiphany.
of
Like,
or just like a challenge that you had to overcome.
Right. You had
It
to
was-
Yes.
navigate it.
Yeah.
I
Right?
was trying to find a more
Yeah.
fancier way to say that,
Yeah.
but it was more or less just a really big challenge. I was like, all right, well, what you did worked, and now it doesn't.
I can
And-
either go in the
Yeah.
corner and suck my
Yes.
thumb
yeah,
or
I
figure
hate when
this
you say
out.
that because
right?
I don't know anybody that does
Well,
that.
no, but
maybe
some
cry in
people
a
would.
ball.
Yeah.
Curl up in a ball and cry.
Hey there.
But yeah, you navigated it.
Yeah, I feel like I had to. In the same way, like you're saying, like if you lose your job, like when I was working with like Big Y and Noah in those restaurants, that was my only like client. And whenever he was getting ready to retire and like get rid of the restaurants, he was like, Cody, you got like 2 more weeks and we're done. And I was like, oh, okay. I never really thought this was gonna happen. I just figured
Yes.
the restaurants would be open. And I was like 21, and it was like, all right, cool. You have about 2 weeks to figure out
Yes.
how to pay at least the next 2 months of bills. And then, but that challenge like kind of helps you like think outside the box, like be more like just to work harder, I guess.
But again, not everybody has that talent. That's why I say some people
Yeah.
go in the corner and suck their thumb for
Yeah.
like 2 months ago. I lost my job. Oh, well, it was me. There's rent to be paid. There's kids. There's
Yeah.
whatever. There's a car. Whatever. Go figure it out. You know?
Yeah, and I like coming from I mean, I wish my family was like super well off and great, but like I didn't come from a family that could have helped me. So if I lost it, like I'm screwed. I'm moving in with my grandparents, Beaver
Yeah.
County, and that's the last thing I'm trying to do is go back to Beaver County. So knowing that there is like
Nothing wrong with Beaver County.
no offense,
Scott
Beaver County.
Tatey.
I know I love you guys.
Scott Tatey, we love you.
But knowing that it's like you can't mess up.
Yeah.
That's
really
it.
helps.
And everybody has the I'm not going to ... And from that, it does push you to do like what's next.
Yeah.
And that's the
Yeah.
craziest part. Like you said, COVID did teach us we have no flipping clue what's next. Because you can plan and prepare all you want, but something like that happens, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You have no idea what are you gonna do?
Yeah, and
Figure
if
it
COVID
out.
happened, what happens if something worse than COVID? Then what are
Right.
we gonna do?
That's
So, like,
exactly right.
I tried to be like 3 months ahead. I was always told like have 3 months of rent.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, what about 3 years?
Yeah.
And maybe even a 30-year plan at this
Right.
point. Like,
Yes.
will that even work?
Yeah.
It will not.
No.
Right.
Yeah.
No.
Tell our viewers, again, this is for a friend, but explain what is a typical day like? You get up, you do what? What are you thinking?
Oh.
What are you creating? That kind of thing.
Oh my gosh. Some weeks are really slow, and those are the worst. Because I'm like, all right, I must have done something wrong. Everything must have failed. No one likes me anymore. I have no work. And then it's like, the next week I wake up and it's like 9 to 9, shoots, videos, everything. And I'm like, all right, this feels good. I'm like blinded by like being busy. So like on the bigger picture, I feel like it's like a couple weeks of craziness, couple weeks of nothing. The busier I am, the happier I am. But I guess like there is no Monday or Sunday. It's kind of like every day. Well, I create my own schedule, and that's my main goal. Financial freedom in the sense of like managing my own schedule is the most important to me. I don't have to be anywhere if I don't want to be, and I make sure that like I maintain that. Obviously, if some jobs have an appropriate pricing structure, I will be there, and we'll do, of course, like whatever we have to do.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's lots of like client relations. Like I have restaurants that we work with. We have projects that we're trying to execute, and it's mostly just knocking off chapter by chapter, maybe. Or
Yeah.
kind of. That was a terrible explanation.
No.
No,
of
it
what
really
I do.
wasn't. No,
I should act like I actually know what I'm doing.
I love the whole you got to do what you got to do kind of thing. We've talked about, like, when I was in high school, my parents said the McDonald's opened up in McKees Rocks. You need to go down there and get a job. And I did literally every side job I could to not go work at that
Yeah.
McDonald's.
Does everyone realize we can never go to McDonald's? We can never go to Beaver. I don't even know where
No,
this is
like
going. I have
as you
no
know,
idea. I'm so
I
scared.
can't pass a McDonald's without eating. But I did not want to work there. So I did caricatures, I painted signs, I cut grass.
I just
Yeah.
found that out. That he did
Everything I
caricatures
could
and
ever
sold them.
do to
Like, isn't that
not
crazy?
go work at that place.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like mostly food and beverage photography, like working with restaurants, working with other
good.
like
Yeah.
marketing agencies, like creating content for their clients. A few clients of
You've
our
worked with Laura Early.
yeah, Laura Early, that's
Yeah.
probably how I met you
Yeah.
guys actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Laura, she'll hit me up a couple times a week. We do shoots. Sarah Webb, she has an agency. The same thing. She books me for shoots. I work with her. I help her and her clients. I have my own clients. Before COVID, we had like 20 restaurants. I say we when it's just me, but like 20 restaurants. We'd manage their social, do content, kind of consulting on the marketing side. And COVID happened. Now I have like 2, but I prefer it that way. It kind of helps me work on my own projects. We're working on making like this 8% nitro tea with like locally sourced tea, kind of like a twisted tea
Oh
on
my God.
steroids is what we're
Yes.
trying to. Well, we are doing it.
Yes.
We're not trying anymore. We've done it.
That was a good tease because you're going to come back and do a tailgate with us so we know more about it. Yeah.
That
It's-
will be a tailgate.
Yeah.
And that will be somewhere closer than Middle Road.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah,
love
no,
twisted
Crenshaw.
tea, so I can't wait to try this.
Yeah, this is super dry, very Earl Grey, like a California cab, like kind of like. Well, the sound effect helps.
Yeah, I know.
But it's like we were working with Twisted Tea for like 3 months, and I love Twisted Tea. I hope they don't hear this, but
They won't.
I don't like how sweet it is.
They all hate us.
And I was like, it kind of inspired me to make our own. So we have it like in kegs. There's like 6 holes around Pittsburgh, like Redbeard's downtown, the Round Corner Cantina, Cobra. We partnered with Lawrence Distilling. We made it, and then we have like 9,000 cans coming in March. So our
I
goal is
cannot
to
wait.
be in, like,
Hold
Whole
on, because
Foods and-
you say something. Yeah, I want you to talk about that.
Yeah.
But you say twisted tea, right? So here's my thing. Like, I'm a mom of 3. I'm still that, like, take your flask with you to the hockey tournaments because I don't want people to think I'm alcoholic. But we got to do what we got to do to get by. And twisted tea is my summer drink, like, no question.
A lot of
Even
people's.
when we worked with Truly, I was like, I like Truly, but twisted tea is my jam. You're right. It's too sweet.
Yeah.
So
it's
if you,
malt
I
and-
guess my question is, you're also learning a different industry by, like, you're figuring out how that stuff works and how you can kind of change that as well, right? From a drink
Yeah.
perspective.
Yeah, legal stuff is insane.
Oh,
It's
well, I
really
wasn't
hard.
going there, Cody.
No, I'm not either. Just like that's what I'm learning is like
Yes, there's a lot to it.
yeah, like just making sure people don't get sick, making sure what you're making is consistent to what we're pricing it at, to how we're sourcing ingredients. Like this stuff is blowing my mind, but it's really interesting to see. I just want to
Yes.
like have a product and like sell it, but it's cool to
Yes.
see the behind the scenes. Thankfully, like working with Lawrenceville Distilling, that's their job. They make sure all that stuff happens, and I just make sure people get to try it and it gets in the right place.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been fun, and that was another like COVID kind of breakthrough. Was
Yeah.
like, if I can't have parties and sell other people's alcohol, maybe we can have our own alcohol that other people can drink at home.
We
and kinda
went
flip
down
each
this
other.
road a year ago.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
With the beer,
we don't know
yeah.
anything about
With the
brewing
beer, we've still not
but
given
we've
you.
been very
Yeah.
fortunate. You know,
It's all right. I
we-
haven't given you the tea yet either.
the
so.
crap the crap that we had to learn about the laws of liquor laws and why you can't go do this, and I mean it's
Yeah.
insane, but you learn.
Yeah, I talked
Yeah.
shit on attorneys. I was like, I don't know why anyone ever want to do that. And then I'm like, you guys saved my
Yes, right.
a
Sure.
million times. I know why you're so pricey and these phone calls cost so much. But,
But you said that this is the other part, and we've talked about this with Byron Nash even. So many Pittsburgh, and I'm assuming it's across the board, but Pittsburgh, we all play in the same sandbox. No one is like, I'm not having Cody on because he has a drink that's different than YaJagoff beer. Like everybody is sort of in the same, like, oh, I got to try your beer. Oh, I have to try your drink.
Yeah.
Like it's an opportunity now that has also been open to people of creative minds to say, hey, this is kind of a cool thing.
yeah, I agree. I think that the only problem, and I completely understand, is like, I'm a photographer that throws events that came out with a beverage.
Yeah, right.
And then there's like bartenders that I speak with, and I know that they quote unquote like it and like support it, but I can still see a little bit of like, yeah, all right, like you got to do that. Why do you get to do that? And I'm like, you can do this too, and that's the whole point of Creative's Drink is to inspire people to
Right.
do random stuff. Like,
Right.
go. If you don't want to work at the bar, don't be mad at me.
Go
like,
make
go
your own,
make, yeah, try and-
bitches.
You have more
You're all
resources than I
swearing,
do.
so I'm swearing now.
Danny's over there. Chris, they're all going, you told us we couldn't swear.
Yeah, sorry. But yeah, and it kind of goes back to the whole thing of like creative drink. It's like if you don't want to work the job, go figure
your
out other
thing.
ways to
That's right.
to not have to work it.
Yeah. No, I
and
get it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's challenging, but I'd
You
rather
have
do
to
that
be
than-
able to accept risk. If you
Yeah.
need that safety net of a paycheck every 2 weeks, this isn't for you.
Yeah, that's for sure. I still wouldn't mind a little bit of. I guess we have some clients that are pretty consistent. I can fall asleep
Right.
over these than I
Eventually you
used to.
do that. Right.
Yeah. But
So
the freedom comes with it.
talk about the tea, because
Yeah.
I want to know more about that. So we literally are going to have a tailgate the closer it comes, so that we can actually taste test it.
Yes.
I can't
and we'll have
wait.
Cans will be a lot different than the kegs, and a lot easier to carry.
That
These
is
kegs
so
get heavy.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what can we expect? And sometime like mid-March-ish.
Yeah, I think first week of March, everything's been pushed back, but all the legal stuff is done. So now we just have to get the company in. It's a company called Ironheart. They travel in from Ohio. We have like 500 gallons of tea. They hook up essentially like a portable canning truck, and our totes of the product goes through their canning line, and then we get them by the pallet. And my goal is to be in Whole Foods, Giant Eagle, and there's a law passing that allows you to buy like canned cocktails here soon in grocery stores. So I don't know when it's passing, but I know that at least in line with like when it does pass, we'll be ready. So the goal is to have it like widely distributed. I would love for like to be like the Icy Light, no pun intended. Like the Twisted Tea, how Icy Light is to beer, what the Twisted Tea is, but like in a Pittsburgh form. We were bouncing back and forth on names. I wanted to call it River Water. I thought that'd be kind of funny. Everyone hated that idea. I still like it. I still think it's kind of clever, but we ended up calling it the Tea based on the our trolley or train. Whatever.
Yeah.
I went this. Well,
Well, I was gonna say John's daughter calls she'll go, give me the
tea
tea.
is the scuttlebutt.
Like give me the
You know
give me the
that?
gossip.
No,
Yeah,
so
my
that's
daughter-
kind
Oh,
of
the tea.
cool.
Oh, the
yeah,
gossip.
my daughter will say, give me the
Didn't even
gossip. So I
think of
think
that.
that's even more perfect.
I love
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
okay, well,
And
that's
you can
cool.
credit us whenever it's selling
Yeah.
like crazy. Thanks to the YaJagoff podcast.
Yesterday I had like a 2-hour meeting on like ROIs and COGS and this and that. I'm like, I don't know what the heck this stuff means. But she was like, this is good. She was like, it's about transportation. It literally
Yes.
means the T. She's like, you have multiple avenues that this helps. And now I guess I have 4.
And can
3.
you tell him who you're working with? Because it's a common friend. Is that okay?
Well, I'm yeah, kind of. I'm
not.
Michelle Bloom.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Michelle Birchfield from Bloom.
Birchfield, yeah.
She is providing me with so much
Oh,
insight.
yeah.
She-
She's been down the path.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally. So I had a nice lunch with her yesterday for like 2 hours.
There you go.
But she's been holding my hand with this process, which is really great. I
Right.
don't know if.
Oh,
I
my
just
God,
love
yeah.
when Pittsburgh people
She's
collaborate.
super nice.
So, yeah.
Super
Yeah.
nice, and like she's beaten that path already.
Yeah, she is. Yeah, she knows. She's giving me a lot of insight on what to do next. 'Cause without
Nice.
her, I'm sure I could still figure it out. But she's
Yes,
making it just
it's
a little
all-
bit easier.
That's right. And another mind helps to kind of do that. She helped us when we did the podcast at Construction Junction, and I was hungover, and she brought her concoctions of water, and I drank all of them, and no one else got to have them because I was
Yep.
a little dehydrated, so that was helpful. But she's a great mind, and she knows it. Like you said, she
Yeah.
understands
Yeah.
it, so it's great.
Yeah, I'm really glad. She was actually Bloom Honey Water was like a very early person, as long as you guys, to like donate product, to like
That
be
means
there
we're
for our
old.
events. No, that's not true. Just, you guys believed in our vision early. Of
course.
we
Yeah.
were
Of
doing like
course.
3 vendors.
Yeah.
But she was an early one. I really didn't speak to her since. And then when we started diving on this, I was like, I should. My friend Will is her son. So he's like, call my mom. And I was like, am I allowed? I'm like, can I call your mom and ask for advice? She's like, yeah. He's like, hell yeah. It's the whole point of like relationships. I was
Yeah.
like, touche. So yeah,
That's
she's
so
been
cool.
a
Pittsburgh.
blessing.
Yeah, I love it.
Pittsburgh.
Literally.
Cody, before we go to the question of the day, where does everybody find you so they can follow you and know what the heck you're doing and how they can patron all this good stuff?
Yeah, Creatives Drink is kind of like it is my company, not kind of.
I do that too. I've been doing that.
yeah,
Like,
I
quit
need to, like,
saying
own
kind
my
of.
stuff.
Yeah, like I don't kind of feel sick.
And I still say
feel
we,
sick.
and it's just
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
Like,
I say I and it's a we, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I irritate him.
but Creatives Drink, creativesdrink.com, and then to Bakery. The Bakery was taken. Still trying to buy that handle, but now it's pointless. This girl owns it. She just doesn't open my DMs. I'm like, please let me buy this Instagram handle off you. I don't know why you want to take money.
Oh
from
my
Instagram.
God. Are you serious? Is
Yeah,
that why?
Yeah, it's literally a thing. But she doesn't post. I don't know. She'll never hear this. But
Right.
I'm never gonna buy it anyways.
Open your DMs.
Yeah, now
Oh my
it's a
God.
bakery. It works, and everyone's like, "What the hell does that mean?" I'm like, "Thus taken," and "tuh" was like a funny meme I saw in high school.
I never knew that.
Yeah,
really
there's like these dumb memes that just use the words like "tuh," and I was like, "Well, if I'm gonna be the bakery, I might as well be Tuh Bakery." But that's my personal Instagram. I provide like behind the scenes, kind of like what we're doing, and then I do the more polished, fancier stuff on Creators Drink. Yeah.
Good in a
It
nutshell.
is. This has been the best time I've had with you yet. Just kind of getting
Listen,
to
Tracy,
know.
this is one of my favorite
Really,
podcasts.
really
I'm
getting
not
to
gonna
know.
lie, because these,
Thank you.
yeah.
We've always connected, but never connected this deeply.
Yeah, I was like,
so,
I already
love
talked
it.
to you guys about this
Did
stuff
he
yet.
just elbow me out?
Yeah,
I think
so
I was elbowed out of
that's
the way.
awesome.
So
Me?
I'm going on Eric Dillman, and you're not.
Question of the day.
All right, question of the day. Biggest celeb or act,
Oh.
who you've met. No, wait. But who is
Oh.
your all-star claim to fame? And it cannot be Chancellor Humphrey.
No. Jonah Hill called me a bitch one day. I thought that was funny. I swear.
That is
I
Why?
got to have drinks with Jonah Hill, and he's dating. Okay, my best friend lives in New York. His coworker is dating Jonah Hill, and I skipped a meeting. I'm not a meeting. I skipped a wedding with my lovely girlfriend Lily. Sorry, still. And I went to New York instead to go to my buddy's wedding, and all of a sudden I'm having drinks with Jonah Hill. And he's like, "Well, what are you doing here?" My buddy's like, "Yeah, he should be at a wedding right now with his girlfriend, but instead he's here." He's like, "Damn, bro." And of course, with this girl, he just started dating. So he's like, "Damn, bro." He's like, "That was kind of a bitch move, eh?" And I was like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah, sure. I don't know." I was like, "I guess so, man. If you think so, then sure." So I'll never forget that.
Oh my God.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is great. That's the best answer.
a little bit.
I don't think
Yeah.
anybody's gonna have that better answer. Than
Yeah,
that, to be
I'll
honest.
leave that one.
Yeah, I
that was
love it.
that was a good one. I'll never forget
good.
that.
Wow. All right, that was a microphone drop.
right.
Always a pleasure, Cody. We can't
Cody,
wait to
thanks
do the
again.
tailgate. We promise on my children's hearts that we will have our beer. Because
It's okay.
We
I
want you to
keep
try
telling
it.
you I'm gonna drink my tea. And
Well,
I
we're
just
gonna
keep
drink the
forgetting
tea.
I wasn't
Yeah.
gonna bring a whole six over here. My Uber driver would have been like,
We're gonna drink
You
the
totally
tea.
should have.
It was
Yeah.
more or less the Uber driver being like, "What the
I mean-
hell are you doing with the whole 6-door tea?
And why are
dude? And where are we gonna put this thing? Mess up the leather in the back seat."
There you go. That's why we didn't bring our beer. That's right. Yeah.
I have a
love
little
Transport.
cute little 32-ounce 6-door as well, but it's currently
By the
in
way,
County.
can I just ask you how much is an Uber ride from where you live all the way out to
$35. So you guys owe me $70. I spent $70 to beer with you guys. I want everyone to be
We
full.
will. You think I'm kidding? We will help
We'll
a
be
brother out.
Venmoing that.
No, it's a write-off.
that's
Yeah.
funny.
There you
All
go.
right.
I gotta write stuff off.
Cody, thank you so much. All right, so we're going to get set up and
so
flip the camera around and talk to and listen to the band one more time.
I'm stoked.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm gonna hang out. I have nothing else to do
Yeah,
today.
no, hang out. We're gonna listen to the band. We still get to talk to them.
All right, so let's take our microphones over there. We'll interview them. And then,
Oh, from over there,
they'll
John?
play. Yeah.
All right.
That way we're all just set up.
All right, I'll take
Everything's like embedded into the.
I hit the string mirror.
What?
Watch yourself on the wires. Yep. All right. So, Rachel, we have 4 mics, so we'll give each of you guys a mic to talk, and then Rachel and I will share one. Yeah. All right. I don't even need these headphones, I'm sure. We'll give you this. Brian. All right.
You don't want to give me this.
You guys should have gave me that.
And Danny.
I've been sitting here for
Just make sure it's still. And Chris.
Yeah, that bottle was for tonight, by the way. You finished it
I got
already.
another one coming.
All
Don't worry.
right. Just if you
got us
guys
covered.
just pass each one of your mics and call and make sure we're still connected after all that.
Check and checkers and chess.
What he said.
Chex Mix.
How we doing?
How we doing? You good? Check 1, 2.
I can't.
I think that mic's good. Okay. Yeah. All right. Cool. All right.
Check.
Larry, you doing the Honda ad at the end? Is that what's going on?
Or all the mics?
All right,
Some
so
of
you
them
guys ready?
gone.
What song are we hearing?
Well, wait. Are we gonna interview them first?
I thought they were singing. Oh yeah, we can interview them first. Sure.
This is gonna be hard to play and hold the mic at the same
Yeah.
time.
All right,
I
we'll
can
be
give it a
quick.
try. I'll-
We'll be
we
quick.
can.
I
a little
love
bit.
this.
Try it, but it would be tough.
Well, we got to hear from Chris. What are you guys up to? You said you still, through COVID, you were actually meeting every week, right, and rehearsing. What's that
Yeah,
like?
we stayed in different rooms though, and we stayed away
Yeah,
from each
yeah,
other.
masked
We're
up.
real,
Yeah,
real COVID
Oh,
safe. Not at
okay.
all.
I don't
Not at
believe
all.
that, but
not at all.
okay, it
Yeah.
sounded good. How did you kind of meet, and were you part of this like pushing the hand of his wife to say, "Hey, let's do this over here," or no? It just kind of made
His
sense
wife
afterwards.
hates us.
Yeah, I'm sure. No, and,
Me too now. She hates me too now because I walked in on her.
In the house, like let's make that clear.
Oh,
Like he just
wow.
walked in the house.
They went to the wrong house.
Yeah, yeah. Are you guys musicians by trade? Is this your kind of side thing? Because often you hear about musicians who are like, "Well, it's something I love, so I have what we call real job, and then I do this." What's your story?
God, this is going to be a long. This is gonna
It's
be a
okay.
long
actually not that
explanation.
long, but
All right, so Chris and I met each other through work.
Okay.
We are both software engineers, and told me about this band that he played in, the Bad Bad Ants, which is another band that he and I do. It's a cover band, and we're all old and don't play much anymore. So we play
Okay.
it about once a year for like very special events, and stuff. So, but Chris and I have been friends since 2007, 6. It's been a while. And so the LiveBurgh thing came around. I'm going to go ahead and talk for everybody. Can I talk for
go
everybody?
Yeah,
for it.
do
Until
it.
we got to
So
interject.
then Chris and I have always just hung out. We played together. We did different things together. And then LiveBurgh started happening. And then Danny became a frequent visitor of LiveBurgh. And then Danny, as LiveBurgh events happen, would hang around after the show and start picking up an acoustic guitar and playing stuff. And Chris would be like, "Holy crap, you are talented. You can write a lot of great songs. I want to be in a band with you." And then the two of them started playing together. And then Chris told me, "Hey, I'm playing with Danny, and this is really good." And I was like, "You think an
Same.
upright bass would be cool with that?" And he's like, "I'll talk to Danny." And then Danny agreed to bring me on. And that was about November of 2020.
It's all blending together.
Year and some months ago. And we were like, this actually is working this is great. Let's try to figure out how to make this happen. We started rehearsing every week. And then I guess that was more of what I was saying with COVID. Even though we didn't play out, we rehearsed
Right.
we are religious. Every Thursday we get together, we play, we write new stuff, or Danny writes new stuff, brings it to us. We keep saying, "Oh my God, you're the most amazing songwriter I've ever met." And we're really happy to be a part of it.
That's
in
so
that
cool.
sense.
Yeah.
And so
I got to throw
Yeah.
Paul in there.
because Chris actually talks way more than I do. I know I'm taking up the mic.
I
but Chris-
understand.
But I also have to. The Bad Bad Ants have a gig. I'm a promotion guy, so we literally these are guys that I graduated with in high school in 1985. We're playing at the Shriner Center on July 16th, I believe, with Norm Nardini,
Tina Daniels Band.
Daniels,
Oh.
Paul, and us.
We've had every one of them on. I love it.
Is that
Yeah.
right?
Well,
Yeah.
I know Norm, but
It's like it's for Ryan's Wings. It's an addiction.
yes.
Yeah, so we play there. We do that. That's usually,
That's the only gig that the Bad Bad Ants
usually
play.
our gig,
Yeah.
our definitely go-to. Maybe we'll have a half gig in there
Yeah,
somewhere.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
But there's some funny connections here too, because Danny and I actually went to the same high school, and didn't hang out much in high school together. But he knows my sister, my younger sister, because they were in the same class, and I actually knew and worked and talked to his older brother, who has passed away. But he, so we have a weird connection there
So
too.
Pittsburgh again. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
Pittsburgh is so small,
Yeah.
you
No
have to
question.
know everybody. Yeah,
Because
exactly.
that's how I met Chris, was through, actually, you guys were down at the Wine Cave. Ray,
Yeah.
one of the owners,
Yeah.
I got to know through business, and then through some hard times in his life, we just got really tight, and he goes, "You have to meet my friend. You have to meet my friend, Chris. He's got to meet him." And he throws these shows. You're into music, show up. So
Yeah.
I showed up to one of his shows, and then I think I've missed 2 in the last 12 years, whatever it is.
For years, he would.
Danny actually lives in the basement, but
Yeah,
Chris doesn't
with
know
John.
it yet.
John's
He
leaving.
lets me
Yeah,
out
John's
for
staying
He sleeps
upstairs.
next to the
Special occasions.
bicycles.
I can't believe
in
I
the
saw
beer
that.
in the beer
He's
thing. Yeah.
totally like a John Prine, Towns Van Zandt, and I would hear
Wow.
these like drunken
Thank you.
musical things. I'm like, dude, we're gonna play. And we'd be, we were drunk. Or whatever,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, and then like finally, after years of hounding him, we put a band together.
Yeah,
That's
and so this has
awesome.
developed into we are actively writing and making sure we put recordings out. We had our first release in December, which was our Christmas album.
Greatest hits Christmas album.
From the house, kind of
From
thing.
the
thought it
house.
was
Yeah,
really
really
yeah.
funny
to
'cause
have
our
our
only
first-
release. Yeah,
Our first
2
release was
songs.
a Christmas album because everyone does it after they're burned out. Like,
Yes.
they do a Christmas album. So our first release was a Christmas album.
You reversed
It's only,
it.
and it's only 2 songs.
Okay.
But we're recording again next week. We're planning on another release in March to do like small EPs here
Yeah.
and there to try to put our stuff out.
That's awesome. Now, can you record here also?
We record
Yes.
here.
Okay.
Last
That's what
time
we
when
do.
we went to Duquesne,
Yeah.
he recorded this. He's our
Gotcha. Technician. Okay.
Which is also, Jake, because that's how you guys with the house fell on.
Yeah.
Yeah, the album I'm going to give you, they've practiced here, recorded here, Bad Custer.
Dirty Windows is a LiveBurgh born project. It was like we all came together here, we rehearse here, we record here. Like we do everything right here.
Yeah.
So
Why the name?
He said he wanted to start a band because actually he said, I
Yeah,
want to
look at the
produce you
drum
because
case.
of your songs and stuff. And then one day he's like, I'm tired of going to gigs, having to take all my gear. He was all drunk. And he pulls this suitcase out and everything's fitting in there. He goes, I want to walk in with a suitcase and start playing on this. He goes, let's start a band. I was like, yeah, why not? We're drunk.
Yes.
And I thought that was the coolest thing ever. And then he's like, well, what do we call our band? I was like, well, I always thought if I was ever in a band, because never thought I'd be in one, I'd call it Dirty Windows, just from a song I heard when I was a kid, and that was part of a song.
John Prine
Actually, it was a John
song.
Prine
Yeah.
song when I was a little
Danny's
kid.
very heavily John Prine.
Yeah.
influenced.
Oh yeah, it was Broken Hearts and Dirty Windows.
Okay.
And it's a lyric in a song. And I thought, oh, Broken Windows is awesome.
Yeah.
And I said that. He goes, fine, whatever, that's great.
Yeah.
I
And that was it. Move
I
on.
got it.
So
I love it.
Check off my bucket list.
Taken, but then,
Well, kind of. Yeah.
so Brian goes, well, Danny, how do you
So okay, there's a little bit of a story too about how we spell Dirty Windows because can I do this?
Yeah, go for it.
So Danny's is dyslexic, so he has always grown up in an education system that was not well suited for disabilities, and so he has learned to survive through that. But he's also has his own very unique way of spelling and writing, and so when we were talking about Dirty Windows, and I just did a quick Google search, and I was like, oh, there's some group in Ireland that has 200 followers that already call themselves Dirty Windows, and they spelled it right, Dirty Windows. And one day I was like, Danny, how would you spell Dirty Windows? And I wish I have an image of what he wrote down on a piece of paper. And he said, well, the plural, the singular would be windows, and he spelled it wrong. And he said, so the plural would be Dirty Windows, and he spells it DERTYWINDOZE. And I'm like, we're born.
Which I still can't figure out what you guys were laughing about.
That is our band name right
I thought
there.
it was right on.
And you were right on.
Okay.
He is absolutely right on. And so we actually, if you look at our set lists and lyrics or anything that Danny writes, it's all Danny's writing. And
see,
we embrace it.
I try to trick him and figure it out right, and I haven't done it yet. And I'm like, I got this. I spelt that one right. And you're like, perfect. I'm like, I messed something up somewhere.
Before you leave, take a picture of the back of his truck that's sitting out there.
It's
the tailgate of knowledge.
The
piece of
tailgate
art.
of knowledge.
Exactly what I'm talking
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Okay, I will.
And so our next album, we're thinking, is going to be called, it's spelled Dirty Windows, and we're going to misspell. Well, we're going to let Danny spell every word in
I'm
that
going to screw you
line.
guys up. I'm going to spell
It's gonna
perfect.
be perfect.
I'm going to Google
Do
that
it.
stuff or something.
And it really is about embracing,
love that.
and
That's
not
a great
calling it a
story.
disability, but just embracing it as like a difference,
Yeah.
and celebrating how that can be, something unique.
It's creative,
and something
yeah.
creative.
Yeah.
And on top of that, he's an amazing songwriter, and just has oodles.
So you guys
and
can't
oodles
rip
of
on him
songs.
because he's that good. Is basically what this.
Have I not ripped on him yet?
Yeah, they shouldn't talk to you because you got nowhere to go but down. I'm just saying.
No.
He's a complete jerk too, but no, I'm just joking.
We hear the one song on our only album, the Christmas
EP.
45, whatever.
The Christmas 45 greatest hits, yeah.
You will cry. I still well up every time I hear that song.
Well, I tried to write a sad song. I told my mom, I'm going to write a sad song because all my songs are funny. And then I wrote it. And I go, oh, I overdid it.
Aw.
Yeah.
Great.
The funniest thing is the flip side is called Ho 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 for Christmas, and it's totally not funny. It's
Okay.
Well, not serious. It totally
It's
is
not
funny.
serious. It's
All right.
funny.
So before we ask you the question of the day that we didn't ask Chris when he came right on, where does everybody follow you guys? Where do they find you on social media? Website? Is all that good for Dirty Windows?
Facebook is our biggest.
Okay.
DERTYWINDOZE.
Okay, and follow you guys. Awesome. All right, so the question of the day, in case you didn't catch it, who is your all-star claim to fame? And I have a feeling like being musicians and being here, we may be even more overpowered
Do we
than
each
Jonah
have
Hill.
one, or do you
yeah,
want a
you each
collective
give us
one?
one. No. You don't have to like rock, paper,
I'm
scissors.
gonna go
on-
last because I have a ringer.
I've never
boy.
I've never really met anybody
I will
famous.
say that just because Randy Bauman's been here a lot, he brought Billy Gardell
That's a good one. Hey, and FYI, we were trying to get Bill Crawford to come on today because we thought that would be kind of cool because we knew Randy was here. Yeah, but he's out of town.
But for the DVE, they used to practice here for their Christmas parties.
Gotcha.
And one time, Billy showed up because he was Santa Claus that year, and he sang, and he signed the ball. And
That's awesome. That's a good one. All right, what's yours?
You're up.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it would be what? Mike Minda of Common Heart.
Okay, that's a good one. Yeah,
He about the only
that's a good one.
famous person I know.
There you go.
Shh, we're not going to go there. That I actually know him, and he's my cousin, but we're not going.
All right. I'm going to be
Name drop.
I had Thanksgiving at Kevin Bacon's house.
Oh my God.
Did they serve bacon?
No.
6 degrees of
Turkey.
Kevin Bacon.
You are all in the game now.
Oh my God.
You're
Yes.
all in the game.
Yes, I love it. That's awesome.
So through a weird chance of things, I actually dated Kevin Bacon's niece, but I did not know that at the time. And so I was hanging out with her at her home, and I looked on her wall, and she has all these pictures of Kevin Bacon. And I was like, you guys just fans of Kevin Bacon, or what's going on here? And she says, he's actually my uncle. And I was like, no shit.
How about that?
And so then next Thanksgiving, he hosted Thanksgiving dinner for the family, and I got to sit
That
next
is
to
so cool.
Kevin and Kira at Thanksgiving dinner.
So you dumped it right after that, huh?
About 3 months later, yeah.
Oh my God, that's such a good story. See, yeah, good
It's
questions.
true, yeah.
All right, what song are we hearing as we go out? Do we know? Do you guys know?
This is Anti-Marriage.
All right. So as always, John, let's thank everybody so that we can
Right,
hear
we have
them
to
do
thank
the song.
Cody Baker.
Oh my gosh.
Thanks to Eric Dillman.
Yeah.
And thanks to
Chris.
Chris. And thanks to Tracy and Colin
Yep.
who put all of this together again. Thanks, of course, to Hairpiece Charities for including us in. Make sure you go vote for us. $10 a vote.
Or more.
And,
Or more.
Right, or more. And thanks to Chris and his wife, who, again, I barged in on because it was the wrong house. And thanks to these guys, the Dirty Windows. Thanks to Rory Honda.
As always, thanks to Rourke Honda. Have you checked out our blog on Rourke.com? We don't want to flood inboxes with deals and spiels, rather fun and community events and incentives. That is what the blog is. Take a minute to visit the store to learn more about the vehicle that best suits you. Visit Rourke.com for all of your vehicle needs. And now we hear Dirty Windows. Thanks, guys. Have a great weekend.
Man, you do that smooth.
That's good. That was well done. Are you on 5?
And yes, I am. I did count down. All right. Yeah, I'm starting that roll again.
All right, this is Anti-Marriage. Like the cat that caught the mouse, but she don't kill it at first. No, she plays with that mouse till it's hot spot first. And that poor raccoon caught his leg in a trap. Sweats all night 'cause the trap is coming back. Always on me to put a ring on that finger. Put a gun in my foot, baby, help. Pull the trigger, yeah, I don't see it ever really happening. Why would we ruin such a good thing? Well, you're always on me when you walk in our home. You know you wear out that fine tooth comb. Yeah, you go out late night with your friends. Come back drunk and start shit again. Oh my darling, why you always on me? She said you get your milk for free. Better buy this cow for it moves on. Greener pastures and a deeper pond. Oh my darling, with your skin so soft, I get the impression you're about to cut me off. Well, I love you, babe, and the sex is great, but I'm thinking less headaches just to masturbate. she plays with that mouse till its heart's about burst. And that old raccoon caught his leg in a trap. Well, he sweats all night 'cause that trapper's coming back.